Hello, I'm Sheridan Morby, Senior Research Economist for the Florida Chamber Foundation, and I'm excited to welcome you to part 2 of our April series of Florida by the Numbers. In the last month, labor market data for February and March were released, and we want to keep the business community updated on the latest changes in Florida's economy. This quick edition of Florida by the Numbers dives into the latest on Florida's labor market and the state of inflation, two indicators that connect Florida to the national economic picture in different ways. The labor market allows for a direct comparison to U.S. trends, while inflation gives insight into how Florida is functioning within the national landscape of changing prices. In part 1 of our April series, Dr. Keith Richard covered Florida's latest housing metrics, new GDP figures, and more. In case you missed it, be sure to also check that video out after this update. While today's update is focused on just a couple of Florida's economic trends, you can stay up to date on hundreds of economic data points spanning talent supply, education, infrastructure, civics, and governance, and many other areas at both the state and local level. Now let's first dive into Florida's labor market statistics. There are over 10 million non-agricultural jobs in Florida. To put that in context, there are more jobs in Florida than there are people in 40 states. Over the year, Florida added 135,000 jobs, a growth rate of 1.4%. This job growth outpaced the national labor market's annual rate, which was 1.2%. In our 2025 Florida economic forecast, we expected that Florida's labor market would grow faster than the national average, and these latest figures confirm that Florida's labor market is expanding as expected, and doing so at a strong pace. Florida added jobs in every major industry again this month, with the leading gains in the education and health services industry. The construction industry once again had a strong month for job growth, in line with the predictions in our 2025 economic forecast. Florida's unemployment rate remained unchanged at 3.6% in March, still lower than the national rate of 4.2%. Additionally, the latest unemployment figures and data on job openings show that Florida still has a workforce shortage, with 99 Floridians looking for work for every 100 open jobs. Although this has narrowed over the last few months, we know that just because there are 99 Floridians looking for work for every 100 open jobs, it doesn't mean that those Floridians have the specific skills needed for those jobs. Florida's businesses are still feeling the impact of a workforce shortage, even wider than these figures can show. We will be diving deeper into these metrics and others that impact the trajectory of Florida's current and future talent at our annual Florida Learners to Earners Workforce Solutions Summit on June 24th in Tampa. We are excited to welcome Chancellor Raymond Rodriguez of the State University System of Florida as our keynote speaker. This is a great opportunity for business and HR leaders to join the discussions that are helping shape Florida's workforce. You can register today by scanning the QR code on the screen and contact our Vice President of Talent Development for the Future of Work, Rachel Ludwig, to get involved in our ongoing efforts. Inflation and interest rates are at the forefront of headlines lately, so let's take a closer look at what's happening and how this nationwide measure impacts Floridians. Inflation measures the change in prices, and from 2022 to 2024, it was cooling. In response to this, interest rates were beginning to be cut. However, in 2025, inflation has been fluctuating. When the change in prices varies like this, it means there will likely be little change to interest rates, which will ultimately impact the cost of larger purchases like car loans and business investments. The expectation is for interest rates to stay put for now, as uncertainty delays some movement in the economy. National policies and trends are a backdrop for Florida's economy, so while Florida has been insulated from some dips in the national economy recently, the state economy could see slower growth while inflation and interest rates stay where they are for the time being. Earlier this year, we released our 2025 economic forecast, and new economic data helps us see how our expectations compare to reality. The labor market is growing at the slow but steady pace that we expected, and housing prices are on par with our expectations. As I mentioned, inflation is experiencing a lot of fluctuations, but so far interest rate cuts are not on the near horizon as we expected. Making projections is really only valuable if we continue to take stock of new economic data and see how Florida's economy is performing compared to our projections, which we will continue to do every month in our Florida by the Numbers updates. To stay up to date as soon as Florida's latest metrics are released, we have a couple of resources to keep you in the know until the next Florida by the Numbers video update. Follow at FloridaBTN, which stands for By the Numbers, on X, where these and other updated figures are posted regularly. Also, be sure to check the FloridaScorecard.org on a regular basis. These metrics will be added as soon as they become available at both the state and county levels to help Florida's leaders lead with data-driven insights. The Florida Scorecard and our team's accompanying research and analyses on these metrics are made possible by the Florida Chamber Foundation's community development partners, companies and industry leaders who have a statewide footprint committed to fueling the research and solutions for Florida's long-term economic success. If you have an interest in joining these companies, you can contact Dr. Keith Richard through the information on the screen. If you have any questions regarding the topics covered today, or if you would like to get involved in the Florida Chamber Foundation's work to secure Florida's future, please reach out to me through the information on the screen. This wraps Part 2 of April 2025's Florida by the Numbers. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to bringing you the latest metrics impacting Florida's economy again next month.